Good evening and welcome. I'm Dr. Deborah Williams, Executive Fashion Director for the Harlem Week Fashion Shows and President and CEO of Her Game 2 Productions. I am so glad that you all have joined us today. I am thrilled to have such a distinguished panel of fashion giants with me. Our theme today is celebrating our fashion magic, and our guests have brought decades of sparkle and shine to the fashion
Mm.
industry. Franklin Rowe. Born in the Bronx, designer Franklin Rowe leaped to the forefront in Black fashion design by combining vibrant African American and elegant Euro fashion in timeless, intricately designed, jaw dropping collections. Rowe has worked as a celebrity designer, dressing Taye Diggs, Mary J. Blige, Grace Jones, Dionne Warwick, Keith David, and Queen Latifah, just to name a few. In August of last year, Franklin was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Please welcome the icon himself, Franklin Rowe. Sophia
Good
Davis.
evening.
Sophia Davis is the chief executive publisher of Fashion Avenue News, Model World magazine, and show producer and designer of the House of Sophia Couture. Sophia is a graduate of the Fashion Institute of Technology. She has loved fashion since the time she could reach Chanel number 5 on her mother's dresser. You will always recognize Sophia by her fabulous glasses. Please welcome Sophia Davis. Hope Wade is our third panelist today. Hope was born in Kingston, Jamaica. She serves as the executive producer of the highly successful Rockland Fashion Week. She also owns a retail store in Nyack, New York. Her red flute gown was worn by rock and roll icon Darlene Love on the David Letterman show and is now on display at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. She is a
All
recipient
right.
Women of Leadership and Vision Award, Fashion Icon Award, and the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Biden. Please welcome designer Hope Wade.
All right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of our distinguished panelists. And thank you for your willingness to share your many, many, many years of industry knowledge with our Harlem Week audience. We are excited to have you all with us today. So let's jump in here. Fashion has always been our culture's way of expressing itself. It is a large part of our identity. Fashion tells the story of a people during a particular moment in time and speaks to the culture of that particular moment. Our professionals today have experienced both the excitement and the many struggles with trying to make your way in the fashion industry. Today, we will explore how they created their magic. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to all of our guests today. All right, so let's chop it up a little bit here. My first question is, we all know that being successful in the fashion industry is a difficult journey. Let's put it this way, it is not for the weak. My first question to my panelists is, what inspired you to pursue this industry as your passion? And let's start with Hope.
Okay, well, thank you first of all for having me, and congratulations again. Another, I know it's gonna be another successful year for you. Well, my path was totally different. When I came here, I was a foreign student from Jamaica, and I attended Cooper Union College. And right out of college, I was recruited for this job. And after a couple of months, they sent me to Chicago to do a trade show. I was very successful. So when I came back, the president told my boss that this is the direction that he wanted me to be trained in. And after 3 months, my boss called me in his office and he said, "Hey, the house I live in, and the car I drive, and the vacations I go on, they're all from the company and they're grooming you for my job. You're fired." And at that time, there was no hashtag me too. So I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was too proud to beg. But so what happened was now I didn't have a job. And a couple months later, I had to attend a New Year's Eve event at my church, and I was desperate. I couldn't figure out, New Year's Eve is the day before the first of the month. And so I couldn't figure out how to buy a formal dress and then pay my rent. So out of desperation, I made a gown. I mean, an outfit. But the thing was, I was trained as a graphic artist. I could cut a straight line. But when I turned on, my girlfriends were like, I thought you said you weren't going to buy a dress. I said, no, I made this. And I had to go in the bathroom and show them the inside, which was horrible. But outside looked good. And then they literally started design, asking me to design clothes for them. And that's how I started in this
Okay.
business. Oh, it's an easy road, but hey, and years later, here I am.
Sounds good. All right. What about you, Sophia? What inspired you to get in this business?
Well, I've always absolutely loved just something different. I always like to look different from other people. Like I wear bling glasses, sometimes people like them, sometimes they laugh. But I don't care because I'm comfortable and confident in my own space. So the thing that inspires me is to do something different, do something that is gonna make people go like, What is she doing?" And fashion feeds me. It's like my husband. Fashion is like I'm married to it. That's the thing that makes me happy. I don't think that, I could be this happy without it. So that inspiration just keeps coming.
Thank you. What about you, Franklin?
Horn, stormy weather. It was in 1977 in the middle of a snowstorm. I'm sitting there, and I was in college and it's also the same year I did my first Harlem week. So she had on a red dress, and I sat down and I sketched my version of it, and and my teachers loved it, and my professors loved it. I love leather. I love working in leather. I love working in stretch leather. I love working in any kind of leather.
So let's move to the next topic. We talked about like how you got involved. Now let's talk about the struggle a little bit, the struggles of being in this business, because it's a hard business to be successful in. So even despite the fact that fashion is a $1 trillion industry, it has experienced a lot of challenges that have created a lot of barriers to entry for fashion designers. What are some of the things that you've struggled with while you've worked to become successful in this industry? Sophia?
Well, first of all, one of the things is when I first started designing, I was making the garments myself. I have 7 sewing machines in my house. I would sit home, I would make the garments, I'd measure people. And I realized that to grow for me, I never was a person that was kind of like into getting a celebrity to wear something because I always wanted to make it under my own name. Although I do believe celebrities can help you, I'm just not one of the celebrity kind of hounds because I want to make it on my own name. So I realized that what I had to do if I wanted to say get in a boutique or get in a store, that I had to eventually get a manufacturer because if you want to get in a store and they want 200 pieces, I don't know how many people can sit home and make 200 pieces, or 300 pieces to put in a store. So the struggle was first, you're there doing everything. You're running, getting the fabric, you're getting the buttons, all kinds of stuff. And then you have to get to a turning point where you make a decision and say, either you want to customize only or you want to try to take it a little larger. So you're going to have to make that investment. So the struggle is starting. You got to find your niche and then you have to make the decision on how far you want to take it.
Okay, that's right. I've heard a lot of designers speak to those same issues that you're speaking to. So thank you for sharing that, Sophia. What about you, Hope? What are the struggles that you've had trying to make it in this business?
Well, the thing for me, because I'm a self-taught designer, self-made per se, a lot of times you try to compare yourself to others or for me, I did not go to a fashion design school. I went to graphic design and Cooper Union is not about fashion. So a lot of times I had a lot of self-doubt, people say this is beautiful, but in your mind, you're like, did I do the right way? It took a longer time for me to get to from point A to B. Then in terms of, as Sophia said, the niche, it's important that you have a niche. You have to have something that is uniquely you. And it took me a while to get to there because I found for me that couture was the lane that I was in. And not everybody wears couture. A lot of people wear streetwear, casual wear, not couture, because it's expensive, it's more expensive, and you have to be going somewhere. And so I after I realized what my niche was, is just in terms of getting the clientele. You need a steady clientele in order for you to even continue in your stream. So I found that to me was the most difficult part.
Okay. And what about you, Franklin? What's been your biggest struggle in this industry?
Financing. I did a Rain or Shine line that we sold in 40 boutiques up and down the Eastern Seaboard. And I love that line because it made sense. And now I'm doing offshore, which I enjoy, and it's also economical, and I get what I want, and and I don't have to fly for 14 hours.
What do you think has been your greatest success since you've gotten into this industry? Hope?
My greatest success, I think, is because I have been working with a community. I produce Rock and Fashion Week, and what it has done is it has given me an avenue to pursue my dream, which is to help other designers, not just to showcase their work, but to introduce them to an audience that, because a lot of times I find that designers have beautiful work, but when you take a close look, it's not properly finished, or they don't have a representative, or they don't have the audience to actually purchase from them. And I think what Rock and Fashion Week for me has done, it has given me the pleasure, the avenue of culminating other person's dream into one runway where it gives them an opportunity to be seen, and at the same time have the experience to meet other designers as well as manufacturers.
Awesome. And Franklin, what's your greatest success?
Greatest success, just to do my dreams. I mean, I'm showing in Paris, and I look forward to that. I'm doing a fashion week this year here, and
What about you, Sophia? What is your greatest success?
Well, one of the things I think is my greatest success is the fact that I'm still doing it, because there are people I grew up with that even went to school with. They're not designing anymore, but I stayed with it. And, you have ups and downs, highs and lows. And one of the other things that I think was the greatest thing for me is I help other people. I'm not selfish. People call me for seminars. They ask me to do this. I don't even say, oh, you got to pay me for this. You got to pay me for that. I go and I help any way I can. I help other designers. I'm not intimidated by anyone. I can help a designer that, some people won't help another designer because they are so intimidated that the person's going to learn, more than them. So, one of the greatest things I think is still doing it, helping other people, and I created a $5,000 cash. And I just want to make that clear, not a photo shoot, not anything like that. I'm talking about cash because that's what designers need. I produced a $5,000 Fashion and Beauty Olympic cash prize. They get cash that night if they win $5,000. And I think that that is something, a photo shoot can help you, but you need cash to get those, that sewing done or that fabric purchased. You need cash. So I think that that's one of the greatest things I've done because that helps other people.
Oh, that's awesome. That's an amazing accomplishment, Sophia. And I didn't know that, so I'm happy to hear that you're doing that. Let's talk about Harlem for a second. What we know about Harlem is that Harlem has always been known as being in the forefront of fashion and style and trend setting. How do you think Harlem's culture has influenced the industry of fashion? Hope.
Well, recently at the Met Gala, that spoke for itself right there. The thing about Black fashion is that we've always been denied, but at the same time, if the people who are denying us are the people who are wearing our clothing, and because they don't give us a platform, or they don't give us a recognition, doesn't mean that we're not there. And it's interesting to me that most of the persons there were wearing designers clothing who are Black. And I think that what the Met did was finally um give recognition to what has already been overdue. So, and Harlem is a place that we all know, if you really want to see Black fashion, just go sit on somewhere in Harlem.
That's your luck, Cam.
It's gonna pass you 2, 3, 4, 50 times. That's what it is. That's the truth.
Exactly. Franklin, do you agree with Hope? What do you think
That's
the
like
influence is of Harlem on the industry?
from the 30s till now. I mean, our power was dressed. I mean, I watched my moms, I watched my gowns and my pops in tails and tuxedos and my mom's in furs and always gloves. Like Sophia, she was 6 foot tall, and my mother was a size 18, 20. And to me, that was beautiful. She looked great. And her hair was done as my aunties. Also, they were all fly. They all had to have the best of the best. And now I realize I do timeless clothing. It does not have a date on it. I don't do trends. Everything has a purpose when I design, and I design so you can make your own statement whenever you buy them. And that is the best thing.
Sophia, what about you? How do you think Harlem's culture has influenced fashion?
Well, I must say that Harlem has always been the forefront of fashion all over. I did New York Fashion Week for, I don't know, maybe 15 years. New York, London, Paris, and Milan. I used to go every single year. And I would see the different designs that are right here in Harlem. And I would look at them and say, that looks familiar. But that's because I saw it in Harlem. Now, just to give you a quick story, I was at Fashion Week in Lincoln Center, and the girls came out, all with the doobie hair. You know how you pin it up when you get it with the Dominicans, how they wrap your hair with the bobby pins. That made the cover of WWD. We've been doing that for years. That's not new. But because they did it, now it's a new thing. So, yes, Harlem is a place where fashion and style are born. They
Yes.
just copy the rest.
So let's take it a little bit further and talk about these influencers. Everybody talks about the influencers. Who is influencing fashion right now? Who are the people that are guiding and leading the trends in fashion? Who do you think our major influencers are now? Sophia?
Well, I think, to be honest, if you really look around and you look kind of across the board, there are a lot of mature women that are turning it out. They are dressing, they are influencers, they're on TikTok, they on Instagram. They're not sitting back like, how people used to get old and sit in a chair. No, these women, they're buying outfits, they're up there selling things, they got TikTok shop. So I think I have to give it to the mature woman, a little nod to them, because they are not shrinking violets. They are out here saying, listen, 70 is the new 30, and I'm in this game. And they're serious. So I think I'm looking at the mature women as the influencers.
Yes, aunties are out here winning.
Amen.
Aunties are out here winning. I love it. I love it. What about you, Hope? What do you think? Who do you think
I
is
think the
influencing?
large size woman, because when you look at these magazine covers and stuff, this is size 0, 2, 4, but they're not the ones who really make an influence. It's those size 14, size 12, size 16 women. I have several mannequins, and the mannequin that, frankly speaking, is the one that I use for almost, I would say, at least 50% of my work, without exaggeration, is the one that the bust is 42, the waist is 35, and the hips 45, 44. That's the one that most of my work and most of my clients are. And the thing is that I believe that every large size woman is a size 8 in her mind. So as far as she's concerned, she can wear anything. You know, I remember the very first time I ever made a dress for a large size woman. She was about a size 20, 22. And I was just basically sewing in the dark because I didn't have a mannequin that size. But I want to tell you, after I was successful in making that dress for that woman, what I have found is that large size women, their bodies are like liquid. This is not exaggerating. Their body, whatever you put on them, trust me, when they put that makeup on the hair and the shoes, number one,
It look
number
good.
one, number one.
Look good. I agree so much with what you're saying, Hope. Curvy girls are winning. We are
They
winning.
are. And you know, the industry has been shunning them, and now Victoria's Secret had them on their front cover. I'm telling you, they have to recognize. They're always trying to deny, but at the end, the truth got squeezed out. Oh, okay, there goes the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, they're even on the runways now. We would never
Oh,
find
yes.
it
Mhm.
more than a size 2 or 4 on a runway. And now we're seeing curvy girls.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, it is so beautiful to see. I
I
agree.
want to even people who are in a wheelchair, because that's
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, when you start seeing people as people, because even if someone is in a wheelchair, forget the wheelchair, it's someone who can't really speak or hear. They want the same clothes that you're wearing too.
mhm,
Amen.
The
yeah,
only difference is that you're normal, but they have the same
Amen.
attitude. They have the same dreams, aspirations. They have the same money in some case. So let us not forget them.
exactly. I agree, Hope. What about you, Franklin? Who do you think the influencers of today are?
And Rihanna has done a lot. And I look at her and I look at Diana Ross at the Met. And she had a black designer, and to have that train, so she's 81 or 82. She's still influencing fashion.
Franklin, well, what's your favorite looks right now? When you look around, what are your favorite looks right now?
My favorites are monochromatic, shapely clothes. I think monochromatic is beautiful from head to toe. Those are my favorite looks.
All right, Sophia,
Yes.
what are your favorite looks right now?
I think I gravitate toward glamour. And that doesn't mean it has to be like a Met, gala glamour. There's a lot of ways you can be glamorous and even have on a pair of jeans. You can have the right necklace on. So I see young ladies on the train, they have the long braids, they got just the right jewelry. And to me, they're glamorous. So I think some of the young people coming up and doing their own thing, that to me is it.
Okay. What about you, Hope? When you look
Well,
around, what are your favorite looks right now?
well, I am Jamaican, and that's where most of my influence comes from. I like working with burlap, and so for me, I've elevated burlap to couture. So that to me is like my standard right now. I do, like as Sophia said, a very well dressed woman. Like if you went to a gala, just the fact that you can wear something that's totally different. You're paying all this money to go to an event so you can be a flower. No, you want to blossom, you want to bloom, you want to be seen. I believe that a woman, when you walk in a room, you should be seen going out and to the back when you leave it. That's what I believe. That's my thing. But I love burlap.
Do you see any styles that are coming back that were hot at one point in time and now they're coming back?
Yes, vintage is hot.
Mm.
You know, I have my store. It's two of us own a space. She does vintage, and I do, of course, my own designs. But I also have vintage pieces as well. And a lot of people, because it's repurposing actually, and people are thinking about, the earth. So vintage is very, very big right now, and they go through all age group. A lot of times people come and say, "Oh, my grandmother wore that," or "I remember my aunt had some," or "My mom passed away, and now I'm seeing this. Now I should have kept it. Yeah. I think vintage is a big comeback right now.
Coming back now. What else is coming back, Sophia?
Well, one of the things that worked for me in the store that I'm in a mall in Philadelphia, the Fashion District Mall, and the luxury boutique of Maison. And I brought back, well, I just loved it. So I brought back that midriff 1960s where the dress was attached with like a little hook. And you had to kind of, everybody was doing that with the go-go boots in the 60s. And I did a couple of those pieces and they literally flew out of the store. I don't even know if I have one piece left.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what about you, Franklin? What's coming back? What have you seen that's making its way back?
Men dressing up again, either with jacket, with jeans, and great shoes. Men are getting dressed again, and I love that. It's power dressing now, and I love suits for myself. I have too many of them. I think that a great cut suit on men and on women look great in suits also. So suits are fantastic and colorful. I mean, I've seen like candy pink suits, periwinkle suits, and they actually look great on the people.
All right, so this is our last topic that we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about it because it's inevitable that we talk about it. So there is all the buzz, a lot of buzz about AI. So what is AI? Let's start with that. So basically, when we talk about AI, we're talking about computer programs that allow us to take large amounts of data, to analyze that data, find all the patterns in that data, and then use those patterns to predict what's going to happen in the future. So it is clearly going to be a game changer in terms of the fashion industry and how our supply chains operate, in terms of how we market our goods, how we design them, how what our timeline is, and how we sell and how we predict inventory levels, etc. So some are calling it our technological little black dress of the apparel industry. Do you think that AI is going to help or hurt this industry or both? Sophia?
Well, I'm going to tell you straight up, I love AI. Now, I love it. There are two sides to everything. You got some good and you got some bad. But here's a story, and it's a quick one. I get my things manufactured. I used to do the tech pack and wait for the fabric and do the pattern and be up with my manufacturer till 3 in the morning. And then one time he said to me, he said, "Why don't you just AI me a picture?" I'm like, AI you a picture? He said, "Yeah, I can make the garment from just AI a picture to me." So I said, "Okay, I'll try it." I didn't know. I tried it. I AI'd him a picture. He made the exact garment, the exact color, everything. So what that did for me is save time for me having to go through the fabric, do the pattern, do the sketch or whatever I had to do. So in one way, it does help you to move faster depending on what you want to do. And then on the other way, the bad part is sometimes you can forget how to do certain things because you're not doing it. It's almost like if you do too much AI, just like we don't know anyone's phone number now. Like you might know two phone numbers, like two mates, because we have smartphones, so we don't have to think anymore. So I think the technique can get lost when you use too much AI. The technique of drafting a pattern. Like I have 3 mannequins in my house. I drape. I this and that. Now, like my manufacturer's like, you don't have to drape the stuff. Just and drape it, take a picture, tell them the color, do all that. He said, no, just send me the picture. Just I AI it. And he makes it right in front of me on the phone, like we're doing now, because he's in another time zone and so am I. So he'll drape it from the picture right there and ask me, is he close? And so AI is good. And also, it can be, you know, hurtful if you use too much of it or you rely on it too much.
Gotcha. What about you, Hope? What do you think? AI hurting or helping, or is it both?
It's just like social media. It can be the best thing. It could be the worst thing. Um, as a matter of fact, I have a wedding on Saturday, and the bride, when she came in with an AI design. So I was like, hold a minute. The thing was that this woman doesn't know anything about fashion per se. She doesn't know like these are the elements that she wanted to put together. Because usually I'm the one who's, interview, consult, do the sketching, get the fabric, all that stuff. So now she went ahead after I told her, what the elements were. She came up with an AI and image. And it was interesting because the fabric that she saw on AI was what she wanted, as opposed to me bringing her samples, which meant that when I was in the stores, I had to be like second guessing myself. Like, does this look exactly? You know what I mean? So end up getting all the different elements. But what it did, it actually helped me because instead of me doing all the work of sketching and all that stuff, she had us up. Now, as far as I was concerned, is that my design? This is where AI is, a little tricky. That my design. Of course, by the time you start sewing, you had to tweak a few things and stuff like that. But it's the first time a client ever came to me with AI. Now, as a store owner, you're online, and we're just about to launch our online business. So I can see where for me, because I'm not the most computer literate person, my assistant, she does all that stuff. Now I realize that AI can help me because my husband is this he's a programmer. Like, what's your job? Just say I'm a programmer. So he's the one, like, if if I ask him certain things, he almost had an attitude like, oh my God, we're talking about a computer, you know what I mean? But now what AI is a little simpler. Like, for example, if I want to put like a blouse on a mannequin, now I don't have to have a physical model. AI can produce a model for me and showing me the different parts of the pieces that I'm the one who designed it. So it has its good, but the bad, like Sophia said, sometimes I can see where you could easily lose your fashion,
Me.
your technique as well as your activity, because you're depending on a computer to put elements in some that you didn't see before. So for me, I think I will stick to my little sketches, my sketch, because, like I said, because I went to design school, I can sketch very well. Not fashion design, to graphic design. So whatever I design, the client knows this is what they're getting. But at the same time, there are times when I'm actually working on the piece and I may shift to something that's a little different. So I mean, we're living in a world now where technology is taking over people's physical job. So that is a concern for me.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why whenever I sketch something, um, I'm very detail oriented because I don't want a robot doing it.
Yeah.
That's the bad part of it. But the good part of AI is you can do an actual fashion show online with not a human being in it. But I don't want to see humans become obsolete because once you become obsolete, you're not a designer. You are part of the machine. And, I always said this from day one. I got to get my hands dirty. I got to get my hands dirty. If I don't get dirty, I'm not working.
Very important, because I just did a show called Dogs and Fashion on Broadway. And so one of the designers, the graphic designers, I said, couldn't you explain the concept? I sent the sketch over. And then she sent this picture over with all these women, these models, and they all have these dogs, different kind of dogs on the t-shirts, and the different kind of dogs walking. And I'm like, where do you find that image? And she said, oh, it was AI generated. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Wow. It was, honestly, it was kind of scary.
Do you remember at last year's Met Gala, when they started promoting this fabulous, fabulous outfit that Rihanna was wearing? It far surpassed everything that everybody had worn at the Met Gala. And Rihanna didn't go to the Met Gala. Rihanna was at home. Not her and Beyonce. Neither one of them were there, and they had the most fabulous outfits on the internet that you've ever seen. And neither of them were even at the Met Gala. So that's the other power of
See?
AI.
I just wanted to jump in and say, something about the AI that's helpful to designers. If you're a designer and you want to sell your garments, most of the time you either have to have a store or be in a mall or, do a fashion show. Now you can do almost like a QVC show with AI with your garments on the models. So you can put that up anywhere, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, and you can sell your garments that way. So if you're interested in making money, instead of waiting for, say, someone to walk into your shop or, maybe a client comes by or whatever, you can put that up anytime and say, hey, we got a sale today. Put up the video of the garments that you have available, and the sizes. So it does help if you use it correctly.
Exactly. All right, so we've heard a lot of the advantages and we've heard about the challenges about replacing our human labor. Maybe it might become a little too cookie cutter and not quite as creative, that maybe the quality won't be as good as it was in the past, that maybe the overall industry may suffer a bit from that. And we just need to make sure that if AI is used, that it is used in a way that's still going to promote creativity and is still going to promote diversity. So thank you for that feedback. Well, one thing is for certain, the two things for sure, or however that goes, AI is here to stay. And if designers want to stay relevant in the industry, they will need to embrace it. Well, this
Amen.
conversation that we have had tonight has been amazing. On behalf of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, we thank you all for sharing your incredible talents with the Harlem Week audience and your valuable time that you all have spent with us this evening. We appreciate you so very much for doing that. And those of you that are out there that are watching, we appreciate you. And we hope that you have been inspired by our talented and our knowledgeable guests that we had here today. I'm Dr. Deborah Williams, and I'm honored to have been your moderator today. And thank you so much for joining us.